You've probably heard the phrase going to the gym only gets your attention from guys, not girls, right? And this is only true because people don't actually train the muscles that are going to get you the attention from girls, right? Most people will go to the gym and the entire workout routine is bench press, squats, and deadlifts, right? That's like the only thing they're working out. But that workout routine is not going to give you the attractive muscles that you want to get that female attention, right? And if you watch my channel and you're thinking, oh, it's crazy that I'm saying we only train for female attention, I don't know. Maybe you might want to not watch my channel because I do train mostly to get female attention, right? Now that I'm a YouTuber, of course, then I train for female attention and to make content for you guys. But besides that, I just train to get girls. So now that we have that out of the way and we have the people who are training for the right reasons watching, let's get into it. The first muscle that you should be training is neck, right? And I'm probably the first person to ever tell you that you should train your neck. You've probably never heard this anywhere else online, right? And it surprises me because neck is one of the things that has definitely given a big impact to my physique overall, right? Like, if you look, I've always had like a skinny neck, right? If you look on this picture to the left, I've always had like a skinny neck. And like your neck is always out the whole time, right? So just having a skinny neck just makes you seem skinnier when you've got like a jacket on and you've got like clothes on and no one can really see anything else besides your neck, right? People can just tell that you're skinny just from having a skinny neck. People can just tell that you're skinny, right? So now you're probably wondering, what do you actually have to do to train neck? And also, it's probably come to a surprise that you actually have to train your neck in the first place. So I trained my neck. I've been training for a total of 1 year, right? So I've trained from January all the way to it's January now, so basically a year, right? And my first 7 months of training, I did not train neck at all, right? And you see in just now, I'll show you a picture of my first 7 months of training where my neck was actually still skinny and it wasn't trained. And then I've trained my neck for 4 months. As you can see, there's a little bit more thickness in my neck right now. Now that I've trained it for like 4 months now, and then I'll just show you exactly like the differences, right? And also, I'm going to tell you the exercise that you need to actually train your neck, right? So if you go to the gym, there's a barbell, right? So you know the barbell, the long metal rod. There's a barbell. You're going to load up the barbell with some weights, probably like a plate, give or take, depending on like how big you are. You put like a plate on each side, and what you're going to do is you're going to have a narrow grip, right? So let me outline it for you. Let me see if I can draw that for you. I don't think I can. But what you do is you're going to hold it on a narrow grip, right? You're going to hold the metal on a narrow grip, and you're going to do what are called shrugs, right? So basically, you'll be doing this, going up and down like that. But you're going to be holding a narrow grip, right? So when you hold the narrow grip, it targets more of these like muscles on the side of your neck over here, and then that's what's going to give you like the thickness on the neck, right? It's going to give you a thicker neck, right? So this is the first muscle, the first important muscle that you should be training, maybe once or twice per week, depending on how much you train overall, right? I train my neck like mostly twice a week, sometimes once a week, right? But I try to train it every week, right? To give like that thickness in the neck over here. That's the first important muscle that you should be training, neck, right? The second important muscle which goes with the neck is the upper traps, and this one is one that's also going to make a huge difference in your physique, right? So as you can see, when I started training like beginning of January, right? This was me beginning of January, just before going to the gym, right? As you can see, my traps, there's like, it's flat from my shoulder here all the way up to my neck. It's just a flat line right here. My traps are untrained, and again, this is one of the things that will show through even your clothes, right? When you've got big prominent traps, it's going to show through even through your clothes. People can see that you actually lift, right? And this is going to just instantly add on to your overall attractiveness, right? It's going to be so different if you trained like chest and then you train like something else, like chest and then arms or something, but you just still have those flat traps. And again, you will not really see this in any of these workout routines that you see most people do. You'll probably be one of the only people in your gym that train neck, that train traps and all that. But again, you can clearly see like from my traps over here, you can see like this thickness and width over here, it's just added on so much to my physique. Imagine if I just had like that flat line over here and like I didn't have like this thickness over here in my traps. And again, I've only been training my neck and traps for like 4 months now, right? But it's already got like so much thickness. And when you have like this thickness over here on your traps, when you put on like a t-shirt and everything, right, it's still going to show. People can still tell that you train, and that's just going to add on a lot more to your attractiveness, right? Especially if, again, if you're trying to do it for female attention, right? Don't lie to yourself and say you're not doing it for girls and female attention. That's what you're doing it for. That's what you're doing it for. So train, do the things that are going to get you, like you're playing the game, do the things that are going to make you win at the game, right? So this is going to instantly give you a boost in your physique and attractiveness overall, right? So traps, what you do is you hold, remember the barbell I was talking about in the neck exercise. Instead of holding it on a narrow grip, you hold it on a wide grip, and then you just do the shrugs again, and you basically do the exact same thing, right? And that's going to again increase the mass in your traps, right? That's going to be super important here for traps, upper traps, right? The next muscle that you're probably not training is lateral delts, right? Lateral delts are basically your shoulders, yeah, the side of your shoulders, yeah. And why this is important, as you can see again, first of all here in this picture, I barely had any lateral delts, right? I barely had any shoulders, right? But this is especially important that when you get like bigger shoulders, when you get these like big round shoulders, right, you see this like shadow that's over here, this shadow that's like between my biceps and my shoulders, right? This is what's especially important, this shadow here. You want to get these shadows, especially when you take pictures. This is even more apparent, right? You can see there's like lots of thickness in my shoulders, yeah, compared obviously to that. But when you have this thickness around here and you have this shadow here, this is what's especially important. That's just going to boost your attractiveness so much, and it's going to make your pictures overall look 10 times better, 10 times better. Of course, in this picture I need a cut and everything, and I was just taking this for taking this, but I did find this picture and I thought my shoulders looked absolutely massive in this picture over here. So having this like shadow over here is super important, and training your shoulders overall again will add on to your overall attractiveness, especially when you put on clothes. It gives you the width that you want for your feet tape as well, because one of the most important like aspect of a male physique is the feet taper, right? Where your waist to shoulder ratio, like your waist is much smaller than your actual shoulder ratio, right? So it should look like that. Like this is what your physique should be looking like, right? So when you've got these like big shoulders, the lateral delts, it's just going to add on to your feet taper overall. As you can see in this picture, I barely have any feet taper. Like my shoulders are like over here, my waist is over here. It's basically almost the same. It's like you have my waist, my shoulders. The ratio is not good at all. But when you've got bigger shoulders, right, so if imagine my shoulders like that, and I have bigger shoulders and a bigger back. Now my width is so much bigger up here and my waist is like that. It just adds on to your attractiveness so much more, right? Adds on to attractive overall, right? So for lateral delts, this one's a bit of a simple one. All you need to do is shoulder raises, right? Lateral raises, I just say shoulder raises, lateral raises. All you need to do is lateral raises, and you can do dumbbell lateral raises or cable lateral raises. I started off with dumbbell lateral raises, but now I've just moved on to cable lateral raises. They feel a bit more controlled, but either one of them work. You basically just grab a dumbbell, like small dumbbells, and you just like do like lifts like that. You can just search up these exercises on YouTube or something. Cable lateral raises or dumbbell lateral raises, either one of them works, right? So train the lateral delts over here, super important, right? The fourth muscle you should be training is your upper chest, right? As you can see, when I started training, I had a flat chest, basically negative chest, right? One guy once told me that you could take a spirit measure. If you don't know what a spirit measure is, it's like an instrument that you use in like to measure a flat surface, right? You use that instrument to measure a flat surface. It's got like this like bubble spirit, right? And when it aligns like that, that means that that surface is flat. Some guy told me that you could take a spirit measure, put it on my chest, and it would come out flat. It would show that it is flat, like super flat. And as you can see, especially true for my upper chest. I had no upper chest at all. It's basically negative upper chest, like none at all. Of course, my overall I had no chest clearly, but especially my upper chest, there was basically nothing, like non-existent. I had nothing to start off with, to work with, and obviously in like my first year of training, I was able to build up my chest to a very good size over here. But especially true for my upper chest. I was working on my upper chest the whole time I was training. And why you should focus on your upper chest, especially, is because that's the hardest one to grow. Your lower chest is a bit easier to grow compared to everything, because all chest exercises are basically going to include your lower chest, right? Because the fibers that connect your chest, how they work is like they connect your upper chest and they're like your whole chest, right? So if you work out your upper chest, right, it's still going to target your lower chest and basically your whole chest overall, right? So, but if you work out your lower chest, it's only going to target your lower chest and not your upper chest, right? So it's very important that you target your upper chest, right? Because that's going to give you even the still that attractiveness, even when you put on a t-shirt or when you put on a vest or something, when you have like this line that goes through up to your chest and then it's especially prominent up here, it's like it gives you that attractiveness so much more. And when you put all this together, when you put like the upper chest, the upper traps, and like the thick neck, this whole section over here, right here, it just looks so good when you train this like whole section up here and you actually train it properly, right? This is like my physique like 2 months ago, give or take. I was 190 pounds. Yeah, I'm like a little bit heavier now, I'm a bit bigger now. But as you can see, if you just train this part over here, it's just going to look a lot more attractive, right? Of course, your overall chest is important, but again, training lower chest itself is not enough. You need to train upper chest. Basically, every chest exercise, every chest workout that you have, you need to prioritize your upper chest, because yet again, the upper chest will develop your overall chest still. So even if you do only train upper chest and like a fly movement, you will develop your chest overall, right? So upper chest, super important. Which exercises can you do for upper chest? Incline dumbbell press is my favorite to do. I just do incline dumbbell press. I also did incline Smith, right? So it's just the incline version of Smith press, right? You can do either one of those, and you can just look again online and see which exercises these are, right? So that's upper chest, super important. The next is obviously the most obvious one, abs and obliques, right? Abs and obliques, the most obvious one of them all. When you have abs, when you have obliques, it looks very good. Most people don't know about obliques. People just know about abs. Obliques are like, you see my abs are here, but obliques are like these muscles that go through from your abs sideways like that. And as you can see, me just standing normally in the open, in the sunlight, right? You can clearly see having trained abs, when you've got like this like thickness in your abs and they're a bit more prominent and there's like a bit of shadows between the abs, it obviously makes them look a lot better, right? Even coming from like this, having absolutely nothing to work with, again, like zero abs, nothing to work with, and after like 7 months, this is my picture. This is the picture I was telling you about earlier in the video, where I'd only trained for 7 months. As you can see, my neck is not trained in this picture over here compared to this picture over here, where I've got a bit of a thicker neck, right? That's the picture I was telling you about. But back to the topic of conversation. That was a side point. Back to the topic of conversation. The abs and the obliques are super important. When you train abs, most people just train abs by themselves, and they even make the bigger mistake of only training the upper abs, which is one of the mistakes that I made. I didn't really train my lower abs. I only trained my upper abs, right? My lower abs weren't as trained. You need to train your upper abs, your lower abs, and your obliques. Obliques are super important. I don't know why people neglect them, because when you've got obliques, again, when you stand, it just looks so much better having these muscles on the side here than just not having them at all. You just have the abs. Of course, the abs are like 80% of the work, but still, when you train them with the obliques, it just gives it the overall look that you're trying to get, right? So training abs, obviously do crunches for the top 2 abs, leg raises for the bottom abs, and then some sort of twist for the obliques, right? So the twist could be like Russian twists, it could be like it's called what's it called rotisserie twist, something like that, where you sit on the machine and you do twists like that. Any like twist to work out the obliques, right? So make sure you train the abs and obliques. This one I don't really have to explain it much. Anyone who watched this video knew I was going to tell you that the abs are one of the most important attractive muscles to train, right? So this one I don't have to put too much emphasis on it. I'm hoping you already know that you need to train your abs. And then the next one is your lats, right? Your lats are basically like your back muscles, but like these back muscles is like more specifically. It's like these back muscles over here, not really your entire back, but your like these back muscles. You get it. So these ones are just basically important for that V taper that I was mentioning before. Your lats are super important for your V taper. As you can see here, I've got like pretty good lats. I've got like pretty good width on my lats here. Just standing and taking a picture, you can see the width that I have on my lats, and it's going to make you have like that big shoulder to waist ratio that I was talking about in earlier videos, where your waist is a lot smaller than like this part to this part, your shoulder to shoulder. It's going to make your whole upper back look wider, right? So you just look better and look more attractive overall, because you've got a narrower waist and you've got like wider shoulders. I mean, the waist doesn't change, it's just that now you've got more mass on your back, and then now you look wider and you now have that V taper, right? Because now you've got like that shape where it comes from up here and then it goes down, up here and then it goes down like that to a V taper. So your lats are super important to train for that specific muscle. How do you train your lats? You basically just do pull downs. You do pull downs, and then you can do pull downs or pull ups. Either one of them works. And you can do like seated rows and things. Those also help for your overall like back development and give a little bit of a little bit of mass in the lats, right? But for the lats specifically, it's always just like the pull downs or pull ups. Either one of them work. And then we've got the biceps. The bicep is another obvious one. As you can see, I started off with basically no biceps to work with. My arms were like this small. I could take my hand, wrap my hand around my whole bicep, and it would go through like this small space. That's basically how small my biceps were. To work out biceps, I don't need to explain much to you. You just work out your biceps and they get bigger, and then obviously when you have bigger arms it looks more attractive. This is another obvious one, just like abs that you need to train, and you just know you have to train it, right? I don't need to convince you to train biceps because this is an obvious one to train, right? So biceps, what do you do? Curls. That's it. You thought I was going to tell you some secret untapped exercises that's got like 1,000 movements or whatever. You just do curls. You do preacher curls, you do whatever type of curls you want to do. You do curls and your biceps will grow. Hammer curls and preacher curls. And so the three types of curls that I actually started doing like 4 months ago, again when I changed up my training a little bit, there's like certain curls where you lift like this, right? You just lift up like that. Then there's curls where you lift like that, and then there's curls where you lift across your body, right? I do all three movements. It looks like I'm beating my shit. Looks like I'm beating my meat. But anyways, there's curls where you go across your body like that, and then those are the curls that are going to help you with like this side muscle over here to make your bicep look bigger from the front, right? When people are looking from the front, this like side profile over here, I think this guy's got a better side profile than me. Like this side profile here, where it's called like the brachialis. This is basically going to get bigger by going like across your body. Then hammer curls and preacher curls, you just do them. Hammer curls are basically these ones, and then the ordinary curls like these ones, they just grow your overall bicep. So those are the bicep exercises I do. So these are like the 7 aesthetic muscle groups, and 7 aesthetic muscles that you should be training to get more attractive to females, which is what we want, right? Because that's what we're training for. Instead of being a power lifter and just like bench pressing, squats and deadlifts and things like that, those aren't going to build you the aesthetic body that you want. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.